Hello, and welcome to this video in our Coordinated Entry training series. The purpose of this video is to provide an overview of the roles and responsibilities that keep coordinated entry running smoothly. A coordinated entry system is a universal, accessible, and easy to navigate process with unified procedures that leads clients to different destinations depending on both the system availability and the client's needs. In order to succeed at this goal, there are several roles that must be fulfilled within the system to ensure its effectiveness. Just like the greater continuum of care which contains it, coordinated entry systems are a network of different community members with a goal of ending homelessness. When we talk about roles within coordinated entry, we want to first talk about the three main roles that institutions play in the development and administration of the system. After we talk about these large institutional roles, we'll also talk about the smaller jobs that are done by individuals within these institutions in order to facilitate the functions of the coordinated entry system. The first role, and most important, is the COC itself. HUD requires that COCs be the one to establish and operate coordinated entry systems. Because it is the COC's responsibility to establish a coordinated entry system, the COC is also the one with control over it. Because the coordinated entry process is complicated and has a lot of moving parts, the COC also designates a planning group called the Coordinated Entry Work Group to support the planning of the coordinated entry process itself. This planning group is responsible for overseeing the system and reporting on its effectiveness to both the larger COC and to HUD itself. This group, along with the Continuum of Care Board, develops system policies and procedures, evaluates system performance and compliance, and implements strategic actions to identify resources. The next institutional role is DHCD. We at DHCD develop assessments, forms, training, technical assistance for the providers. We also implement HMIS functions and tools. We monitor project compliance. We analyze data and produce reports. And we provide staff support for the board and for the committee. Next is the local homeless coalitions themselves, the LHCs. These LHCs are the ones who actually facilitate case conferencing with local providers. They maintain and update a by-name list of all clients within the geographic area. We'll talk a little bit more about the by-name list later. Finally, the LHCs evaluate the coordinated entry system for challenges and best practices which are reported back to the Balance of State Committee and the board itself as needed. These three institutional roles are also coupled with more generic roles that individual providers can fulfill. First, a disclaimer. When we talk about roles, we are not necessarily talking about specific job positions. Some of these roles are already complemented by existing jobs within the LHC. Sometimes in smaller LHCs, one person may fulfill multiple roles. The process of rolling out an updated coordinated entry system may include in-depth discussions with the LHCs to make sure that all the roles are filled. Some people's jobs will change a little. Sometimes new people will need to be hired. Sometimes staff roles will need to be switched around to accommodate the responsibilities of maintaining the coordinated entry system. Just be aware that although this training is intended to be generic for all LHC members, how it affects you and your job in particular will depend a whole lot on conversations that we may be having in the future with your LHC. In the meantime, it's important to understand the roles of the coordinated entry system because they all come together to make the system possible. The first role we'll talk about is the assessor. Assessors are responsible for initiating the coordinated entry process for those who meet the eligibility requirements and are seeking assistance in the housing crisis response system. Assessors are responsible for ensuring that all requests for assistance are treated equally and fairly. They are also responsible for being transparent about the system itself with the participants and setting accurate and realistic expectations. The responsibilities of an assessor include conducting the HUD assessment, self-sufficiency matrix, and other elements that are needed, ensuring the accuracy, completeness, and confidentiality of records, maintaining any records required for the completion of reports, making referrals to different community agencies as appropriate, attend community meetings regarding case conferencing and other service issues, assess and monitor for risk, symptoms of trauma, and other indications of abuse and neglect, and use appropriate reporting mechanisms, provide crisis intervention as needed, assist in the training and development of new assessors, and attend all required trainings and staff meetings. The next role we'll talk about is the navigator. The navigator and assessor roles are complementary. And in some communities, the navigator and assessors will be the same person, though this is not necessarily always going to be the case. Where the assessor's job is getting someone into the system, the navigator's role is to get the client through the system. Sometimes it might make sense to have different navigators with expertise working in different areas of the system. For example, a navigator that helps clients apply for housing programs may be different from the one that helps clients negotiate with landlords. The navigator, often with the job title case manager, serves as the main point of contact for targeted individuals once they are matched to eligible housing opportunities. The person in this role will help collect all critical documents needed for housing placement and may provide additional support necessary to finalize housing. The navigator may provide referrals, offer coordination, or provide in-person support to clients in their housing search, their mental health, physical health, entitlement enrollment, and other service needs. The level of support provided is based on the client's independence and the agency's capability to provide the supportive services. Additionally, this role ensures that clients have been screened for eligibility and are able to enroll into the appropriate HMIS programs. A navigator's responsibilities include assisting clients with critical documentation that is required for housing eligibility, serving as the primary point of contact for assigned clients, assisting with housing search as needed, assisting with referrals and services as needed, and ensuring a warm handoff to housing case managers. The roles of assessor and navigator are unique to the coordinated entry system. However, that does not mean that other roles will not be playing a part in the system as well. These roles include staff from shelter, street outreach programs, and drop-in centers. These individuals may in fact be designated as assessors or navigators depending on their existing roles. Folks in these positions work with newly homeless households to ensure safety and connect back to available community and family-based supports for rapid exits. Also, they assess homeless households who cannot immediately be rehoused for comprehensive housing and service needs. They inform households about coordinated entry and the process for obtaining housing. They also manage household data, such as entering assessment information into HMIS, reassessing households and service needs every 90 days, removing clients who have self-resolved or otherwise are no longer active, assisting participants in obtaining program eligibility documents and documents to be lease ready. All of these other roles will be tied directly into the CES system at all levels in order to create a smooth flow with a warm handoff between each step. The final essential role in the system that we'll be discussing today is housing providers. Housing providers will inform the navigators about the available housing and help clients navigate the housing step of the process, including identifying landlords, negotiating lease agreements, and facilitating move-in. Their roles include ensuring that the system is aware and up to date on program eligibility requirements, notifying the system when the program has openings, reviewing matches from the system and scheduling intakes promptly, ensuring that there aren't any side doors or separate waiting lists by accepting referrals only from the coordinated entry system, adhere to housing first practices, discharging participants only to positive housing destinations or transferring to other housing providers through the coordinated entry system when possible, proactively identifying participants who are ready to move on, potentially to PSH or potentially to a different subsidy, maintaining relationships with landlords to ensure units are available and ready to be leased upon match. That's all for now. In the next video, we'll talk about how all of these roles come together to create the coordinated entry system and be showing what a client's journey through the system will look like. Thanks for watching.